Hello everyone and welcome to SimpliCode's YouTube channel. Kaushal this side and I hope you guys are doing well. Today, we'll take you through HTML login and sign up form. In this video, we'll create a login and a sign up page using HTML and a bit of CSS. Don't worry about the CSS part, it is going to be easy for you guys. We got you covered for everything. So before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon to never miss any updates on programming videos. So without any further delay, let's get started. Whenever we go through the login or sign up portal of any website, we see that on the login page, we use credentials like ID and password name. Sign up page on the other hand refers to the form we need to fill in order to be a part of that particular website. So what we'll do is we'll create a login page and a sign up page in today's video and we'll see what we can learn from this video. So without wasting any more time, let's move on to the programming part directly. We'll start with the login page first. So first of all, here we are in the HTML file. We'll start using the form tag, but before that, we are going to provide a heading for this login page. So what we'll do is we'll move to the body tag and we'll write here H1. So H1 stands for heading 1. I hope you guys already know this particular element. So what we'll do is we'll write here login form. Fine. So we have written login form over here, save it, and you can see we have login form written on the browser. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to style it a bit using the style attribute. We have been through it already. So we'll write here style. Now inside style, what we'll do is we'll align this text at the center of our web page. So we'll write here text align and we'll text align it to the center. Fine. So here we are done with text aligning. Save it now and you can see it moving in the browser. So it's in the middle of the web page now. You can see it over here clearly. The login form is present at the center of a whole web page. Fine. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to use the form tag over here. Fine. So we'll write here form and this is a form tag. So we are going to create the form inside this particular tag only. Now let's style this as. So what we'll do is we'll write here style. Again, the style attribute comes into play. So we are going to use the border attribute now. We are going to keep the border 3 pixel thick, solid in nature, and let's use this particular color. So we'll write here F1, F1, F1. So this is white color basically. So here you can see it's not completely white, off-white or a bit grayish we can say. So here you can see the form body. So I hope this is visible for you guys. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to use a container now. So what we'll do for that, we'll use the div tag, we'll style it and then we'll move on further. So we'll write here div. Now inside div, we are going to use the style attribute again, obviously. So we are going to provide padding over here. Now we'll write here 25 pixels. So what is padding? You guys repeat. So what is padding? You guys might be wondering about that. Padding provides the space between the border and the content of an element. Fine. So the space between the border of that element and the content is known as padding. So padding is going to be 25 pixels for all the sides. So padding is basically 4 sides from top, right, bottom and left. Fine. So we can provide all the values or we can provide a single value for all. Fine. So here padding is 25 pixels. Now we are going to set background color for this and the background color is going to be, let's say, light blue. Fine. Save it now and here you can see we have a container which has a border of gray color and the background color is sky blue or we can say light blue. Fine. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to start creating a form. So here we are inside the div tag. So you can see we have the form tag first and inside the form we have a particular division now. Fine. So what we'll do now is we are going to create a login form. So we'll use the label tag. So label tag stands for the label of any form. So you will see it over here. So we'll write here username and we'll put colon over here. Save it now and here you can see we have username present inside the container or we can say inside the form. Fine. So let's put a space over here, save it now, and now I guess it looks fine. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to create a text box now. So for that, we are going to use the input tag. So we'll write a input type is equals to text for this username, and then we'll write here placeholder. Placeholder will write enter username. Fine. Now after this, we are going to write here name. Name is going to be, let's say, username again, and then we'll write here, let's say, required. So required is another attribute we have. So what will happen now is if we leave this box empty and if we don't write anything over here, and if we try to submit a login form, then a pop-up will appear which says credentials required or something like that only. So HTML provides us with this feature. So save it now, and here you can see we have a label, username, and a text box which says enter username. Fine. Similarly, we'll create a label for password and a text box for password. Fine. So we'll write here label again, and we'll write here password. Save it now, and here you can see we have a label for password as well. Now what we'll do is we'll write here again, we are going to use the input tag. So we'll write here input type is equals to password. You guys are already aware of this type, and then we'll write here placeholder, and we'll write here enter password. Fine. So we'll write here enter password. Then we have the name for password. We'll write here name is equals to password, and then we'll write here a required again. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have another text box. Now, so let me make it a little more clear for you guys. So here we are done with the username and the password. The next thing we need is the submit button now. Fine. So we'll write here button type is going to be submit, or we can use the input tag as well as we did in the last video. So we'll write here login. Fine. So this is the button name. Save it now, and here you can see we have the login button as well. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a checkbox, or we can say a remember me function. Fine. So for that, what we'll do is we are again going to use the input tag for that. So we'll write here input, then we'll write here type is equals to checkbox, and then we'll write here after this checked is a property again. So we'll write here checked as checked. So then we'll write here remember me. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have a checkbox and a remember me option. Fine. And the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create another button, the cancel button. Fine. So we'll write here button, and type is going to be button again. Then we'll write here ID is going to be, let's say, cancel button. Why we are using this ID? Because we need this ID in the CSS part. We'll see it later. Then we'll write here the name of button is cancel. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have a cancel button as well. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to put some links over here. So for that we are going to use the anchor tag again. We'll write here a href. Href is going to be, let's say, hash, because we are going to write here forgot password. So we'll write here forgot password, or we can write here forget password. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have a link present over here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use a break over here, and then we'll add another link for the sign up page. Fine. So we'll write here a href again. Reference is going to be signin.html. So this is going to be the sign in file or the HTML file for the sign up page. Then we'll write here register. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see register written over here on the browser. So we are already done with the login form. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to use CSS for that. So we are almost done with the HTML part for this login page. All of you guys are well aware of the style attribute till now, right? This attribute is used to change the style of any particular element. Let me tell you guys another way of using this style attribute in HTML. We can use all these styling properties inside the style tag as well. For that, what we need to do is we need to move to the head section of a HTML file and we have to write here style. Fine. So here we are here with the style tag. So what we are going to do is we are going to style a HTML document inside this style tag only. Fine. What we'll do here is we'll write here body first. Fine. So what we are doing here is we are styling the body tag, the whole body tag now. Fine. So what we'll do is we'll use the font family first. So we'll change the font family. We'll write here. Okay, we are going to use Gill Sans. We are going to use this. Then we'll write here the background color. So we'll change the background color of this page. We'll write here RGB. The RGB values are, we have to write it in small letters. The RGB values are 134, 132, 133. Fine. We are done with it. Save it. And here you can see the change. So the RGB values are not working because we have written RBG over here instead of RGB. Save it now. And here you can see the background color is gray now. Fine. So it looks nice. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to style the button. So the button tag we have used here, you can see it over here. We have used the button tag for cancel button and for submit button. Fine. Or we can say for login button. So we are going to style both of them at once. So we'll write here button. We'll write here the tag name basically. So button is the tag name. Now we'll change the background color of this button, which is going to be, let's say, #150.5ff. So guys, I'm already aware of these colors and you can do what we did in the background color video, or you can change the background color according to you. You can use the color name, you can use the hex values or the RGB values. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to provide here the width. Width is going to be 100% of the whole tag. Fine. Then we'll write here color. Color is going to change the font color of this button. So we'll write here RGB again. And we are going to write here 248, 248, 248. Fine. Let's see what it is. So here you can see the login and cancel button are changed now. So the font color is white. The button color is blue. And next thing we are going to do is we are going to write here padding. Padding again is going to be 15 pixels for all the sides. Then we'll write here margin. Fine. So we'll write here margin. Margin is going to be 10 pixel and 0 pixel. Fine. So what is margin, guys? Margin provides the space between the border and the outer element. There's a difference between padding and margin. Padding provides the space between the border and the content of element. So here in this case, this is the content and this is the padding. Fine. Margin on the other hand refers to this space between this element and the next element. Fine. So margin as 10 and 0 pixel means 10 pixel from top and bottom and 0 pixel from left and right. Fine. The next thing we are going to do here is we are going to write here border. Fine. So border will define as none. Save it and you can see the buttons here now. The next thing or the last thing we are going to write here is we are going to change the cursor to pointer on taking over these buttons. You can see the cursor change now. Fine. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to style the input tags. So we'll write here input and we are going to style them. So we'll write here type is equals to, we have used a lot of input tags, right? So we'll write here type is equals to text and then again we are going to write here input Then we'll write here type is equals to password. Fine. So we have two input tags for username and for password. So we are going to style them at once. Side by side we are going to style them. So the next thing we are going to write here is we are going to set the width as 100%, and then we'll write here margin again. So we'll write here margin as 8 pixels and 0 pixels. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see the login form is looking more, and here you can see the login form looks much better now. The next thing we are going to do here is we are going to define the padding as well. Padding is going to be 12 pixel and 20 pixel. Fine. Then we'll write here display as inline block. Then we have border over here. Border is going to be 2 pixel, solid in nature, and we are going to define the RGB value again. So RGB is going to be 109. For green we have 8, and for blue we have, and for blue here we have, let's say, 240. Fine, save it now, and here you can see the borders over here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to remove pixel from here, and here you can see we have the input boxes, or we can say the text boxes, working totally fine. Now what we are going to do last is we are going to write here box sizing. You can see these boxes going out of area, so we'll write here box sizing as border box. Save it now, and here you can see the login form is almost done. Fine, so let me close it once. Now the next thing we are going to style is the button tag again. So we'll write here button, and then we'll write here a property. It totally depends upon us if we are going to use these properties or not. So we have to remove from here, we have to write here hover, and on hovering the opacity will change. So the opacity will change to 0.7. Now look it carefully, and here you can see when we take our mouse cursor over any button, there's no change, right? Now save the program, try to take the mouse cursor again. You can see it's still not working as of now. Have to remove this, and here you can see now it's working totally fine. On taking the mouse cursor over any button, it hovers now. The opacity will change. Fine. The last thing we have to do is we have to style the cancel button. So we are going to use the ID over here. So here you can see in the HTML part of cancel button, so we have used the ID as cancel button over here. So we are going to use this ID to style this particular button. Fine. We'll write here inside this cancel button width is going to be auto. Then we have padding is going to be 10 pixel and 18 pixel for top, bottom, and for left, right. Fine. Then we have the margin as well, and margin is going to be 10 pixel for top, bottom, and 5 pixel for left, right. Save it now, and here you can see the login form is completely done. Fine. Now that we are done with the styling part, let's check the final output. Save the program, and you can see here. So here you can see on the browser we have this basic login form. It looks fine, right? We can make it more attractive, but we need CSS for that. With HTML, we can do this only. So let's move ahead, and we'll now create the registration form or the sign up page. So let's move ahead to another HTML file. So here we are in the HTML file. So this file is for sign up page. Here you can see the title for sign up. So we'll remove this form tag from here. It's a mistake. Save it now. And now what we are going to do is we are going to open it with live server again. So here you can see this HTML file has no output as of now. So let's create the sign up form now.
If getting your learning started is half the battle, what if you could do that for free? Visit SkillUp by SimpliLearn. Click on the link in the description to know more.
So what we'll do first is we are going to write here the style tag, and we'll finish it later on. Now moving to the body part, what we'll do is we'll style the body first. So we'll use the style attribute now. We are going to define the font family here. Font family is going to be this one again. Let's say we have used this in the sign up form, or we can say the login form as well. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to change the background color for this whole body. Now what we are doing here is we'll write here RGB. Then we'll define the values as 134, 132, 133. The same one from the previous login form. Save it now, and here you can see the change in the background color of the whole body tag. Fine. Next up, what we'll do here is we are going to use the h1 tag again. We'll style it as well. So we'll write a style. We are going to align it to the center. We'll write a text align. And we'll write here text align at the center. Fine. So here we are. Then we'll write here registration form. Save it now, and here you can see we have registration form written at the center of a web page. Fine. Next thing, we have to include a lot of text boxes and a lot of labels in this particular registration form, because for login form we need only 2 text boxes or 2 labels, right? The username and the password. But the sign up form is different. We need a lot of information about the user. So for that we are going to use a lot of input tags. First thing we are going to do is we are going to use a break over here. Then we'll use the form tag, and that's it. Inside the form tag we are going to change the style over here only. So we'll write a style, and we are going to use the border. Border is going to be 3 pixel, solid in color, and or we can say solid in nature, and off-white or gray in color. Fine. So here you can see the border on the browser. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to use the div tag again. So we'll write here div. Here we have the div tag. So let's style this div tag over here only. We are going to use the style attribute for that. We are going to define the padding. Padding is going to be 25 pixel for this as well. Background color we are going to use light blue again. Save it now, and here you can see the container on the browser. So it's similar to the login one. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use label first. So we'll write here label. Then we have the label as first name, and save it. You can see we have our first label over here. The next thing we need is the input area or the text box for this first name. So we'll write here input type is equals to text. Then we have name. Name is going to be first name. Then we have size, or we can say the length. So we'll write here max length. Max length, let's define it as 15. And we are done with the first text box. Use the break tag again over here, and that's it. So we are done with first name. Similarly, we have to mention the middle name, last name as well. So let's define them here. So we'll write here label again. This time we have the label for middle name, and that's it. Save it, and here you can see we have middle name written over here. We'll copy this piece of code, or we can say the input tag from here. We'll change the name to last name and save it. Here you can see we have another text box present over here. Fine. So one thing we forgot to mention here is the placeholder. So we can write here placeholder, enter first name. Fine, save it now, and here you can see the placeholder on the browser. So we'll copy it from here, we'll paste it here, we'll mention for last name or for middle name as well. Save it now, and here you can see something is wrong. Save it again, and there's something wrong. Fine. Hey, so there's a problem with the live server. So what we'll do is we'll open it again with live server, and here you can see it's not working as of now. Okay, the break tag, we have something wrong over here. Let me check, guys. Okay, we forgot to mention this over here. Save it now, and it's still not working. With live server again, and it's working now. Fine. So it's working as of now. We'll do the same thing for last name as well. So we'll copy this piece of code from here, we'll paste it here, we'll change middle to last everywhere. So we'll write here enter last name over here, then we have name as last name, and we have to write here enter last name, or we can say last name over here. Save it now, and here you can see we have another text box and another label present over here for last name as well. Now what we are going to do is we are going to select, or we can say we are going to use options, or we have to mention them over here. So for that we'll write here label. So we are going to mention course over here, and for course we are going to provide drop down menus. So for that what we need to do is we need to use the select tag in HTML. So inside the select tag we have to provide options. Let's say the value of option is, first value is going to be course, and then we have to write here course. It is going to be a drop down list, so we have to mention a lot of options over here. So we'll write here option again, and then we'll write here value is going to be BCA. Then we have to write here BCA. Save it now, and here you can see we have course over here. So here you can see till now it has 2 values. Let's add some more values over here for options, or we can say let's add some more options over here. We'll add, let's say 3-4 more options. We'll write here BBA instead of BCA for this. Then we have, let's say BTech, and we'll change the value over here as well. We'll write here BTech. Then we have MBA as well, let's say. So we'll write here MBA. Then finally we have, let's say MTech as well. So we'll write here MTech. Save it now, and here you can see if we click on this code, you can see we have different options available. We have BCA, BBA, BTech, MBA, and MTech. So the select tag, or we can say the option tag and select tag, both are used for drop down menus. So here is a drop down menu. So we have to put a colon over here. Save it now, and I guess it looks fine now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to use the radio buttons for gender. Fine. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the break tag, and then we'll write here gender. So gender is going to be the label, so we have to put it inside label tag. So we'll write here label, and we have to put gender inside it. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have gender present over here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to put a break again over here, and then we have to use the input tag. So we'll write a input type is equals to radio for radio buttons, and then we have to write a name is going to be male, and the first value is going to be male. Fine. Then we have to put the BR tag again, then we'll copy it from here, we'll paste it here for female. Then we have to change the value here as well. Female we have to write here, we have to put a BR tag. We'll copy it from here again, and let me close it once. We'll copy it from here, we'll paste it here. Now we have to write here instead of female other. Fine. So we'll mention other over here as well. Save it now, and here you can see we have 3 radio buttons over here. For gender we have male, female and other. Fine. Now next thing we have to include is we have to include the phone number. For phone number we need 2 input boxes, one for the country code and the another one for phone number. Fine. So we need to write here, and we'll put another break over here. Then after this break we need the label for phone. Fine. So we'll write here phone, and after phone we have to write here input type is equals to text for phone number. Then we'll write here name is going to be country code. Then we have to write here the value as well. Value is going to be +91. This is the country code of India. Then we'll write here max length. Max length is going to be 3, so that the user cannot write anything inside here. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have phone as label and we have a text box. If we try to write anything, you can see we are not able to write. So what we'll do next is we'll add another input box, or we can say the text box for phone number. So we'll copy it from here, we'll paste it again. We are going to use the name as phone for phone number. The value is going to be none, so we'll remove value from here, and then what we'll do is we'll change the max length to 10 digits. Fine. Save it now, and here you can see we have another text box over here. So what we'll do is we'll change the type here. So you can see we are able to write characters here as well. What we'll do is we'll change the type as number. Fine. Save it now, and now you will be able to see that we are not able to write any character over here, but we are able to write a number. Fine. So here is the text box for phone number. Fine. So we are going to use the break tag again. So we'll write here break. Let's use it twice. And after this break tag, what we need is the address. So we'll write here label. Label is going to be address. So we have to write here address. We have to put a colon over here, and after this address we have to put the break tag and a text area. So we are not going to use this text box for this. Now we are going to use the text area attribute. So we'll write here text area. Text area columns are going to be 80 for this area, and rows as 5. Fine. Value is going to be, let's say, address over here, and we are almost done. So save it now, and here you can see on the browser we have a text area for address. Fine. So what we need to do next is we need email, we need password and retype password. We need 3 more options, right? So let's start with email. So what we are going to do is we are going to use break over here twice so that it will be clear for you guys to see. Now what we'll do is we'll write here inside label, we'll write email. So we have the label as email. Then we'll write here input type is equals to email. Then we have ID as email. Then we can write here name as well. Name is going to be email again. So save it now, and here you can see we have a text box for email as well. Now what we need to do is we need another box for password. So we are going to use the break tag twice, and now we are going to use the label tag again. Label is going to be password. Save it now, and here you can see we have label as password. Now we'll write here input type is going to be password. Then we have ID is equals to pass. In case we need them in the CSS part, that's why we are using the ID attribute here. Name is going to be pass again, and that's it. Fine. So we have text box for password. Now what we are going to do next is we are going to use the break tag again. Next up, we need to retype password because this is a registration form. The user needs to retype the password he chooses. Fine, so we'll write here label. Label is going to be re-enter password, and that's it. We need an input box for this as well, so we are going to use this one only. So we'll copy it from here, we'll paste it here, and we are going to use the br tag again. Fine, save it now, and here you can see we have another text box for a re-enter password. Fine. The next thing we need is the submit button, the last thing. So we will write here input type is going to be button, then we have value. Value is going to be submit. So save it now, and we are done with the registration form. So here you can see we have everything we need in a registration form. So here we are done with the HTML part only. Let's style this page a bit now. We'll move on to the head section again, and we'll write here inside the style attribute, or we can say the style tag basically. So we'll write here, we are going to use input for type as text. So basically we can do one thing. We can remove it. We can go back to HTML, and we have this input one over here. We'll copy it from here. We'll come back to sign up page, and we'll save it. So here you can see it looks fine. So some of them are not working obviously, because here for email we have used the input as email. So for that to work, what we need to do is we need to write here again after a comma. We need to write here input, then inside these brackets we need to write here type is equals to email, and for once more we need to write here input type is equals to number. Fine, save it now, and here you can see these two are also working. The text area we can also use here over here. So what we can do is we can write here text area only, and it will work as well. So we need to change the box sizing for this address attribute, or we can say for the text area attribute. So one thing we are going to do here is we are going to write here text area as well. Let's see if it works. You can see we have written text area over here, and it works completely fine now. Fine. So here you can see we have both the pages now. If we move back to our login form, you can see this is a login form and this is a registration form. So it looks nice. So what we can do is we can go over here login form, and we can click on register, and it will take us to a registration form because these two pages are linked together. Fine. So this is how we can create a HTML login or sign up page using HTML and a bit of CSS, we can say. I hope you guys got it. Try doing it by yourself and let us know what extra you did. So that's all for this video, guys. See you in the next one, where we'll go through embed multimedia in HTML. If you enjoyed watching this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you have any doubts, do let us know in the comments below. Please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe SimpliCode. Thank you.